Alright, so I decided to record a video about, generally speaking, about some mental issues, problems that generally hold back you from climbing in League. Um, I'm just gonna talk about things such as ranked anxiety, tilting in game, getting stressed out non-stop, and maybe some other emotions that League will push out of you, right? Now, just to be clear with one thing, it's not really the game that's evil, right? Now, of course, the players, the situations you get in, they can be a factor of stress, right? They definitely can push out some negative emotions out of you, but it's really up to you how do you react to these type of things. So, for example, if in League somebody puts you under pressure, in the sense that in under mental pressure, not like in game itself, right? It means that generally you can't really handle stressful situations, like because in League it's really likely that you're gonna be stressed out because of your teammates, because you get countered pick, because you get flamed, because you whatever, right? So it's not really because of the game, it's because you have difficulties to handle a difficult situation, right? Like it just all anyways, I fixed my hairstyle just a tiny bit, just for the sake of the video, right? So yeah, where was I? So it's all about your inability to handle this type of stressful, tiltful, right, situations that you are in, right? So it means that, well, what to do? What to do if you are stressed out from League? What to do if I'm getting perma camped? What to do if people are flaming me for misplaying? What to do if I'm on counter picked? I'm permanently zoned from CS. Well, I can help you with that as well. But now we are looking at the mental state, right? So what to do in with? So what can we do when we are in such a difficult situation, right? Well, one of the things you can look at, right, when you find yourself in a difficult situation, is how much you can learn out of it, right? Because yes, one thing is to be counterpicked, one thing is to be in a bad matchup, right? But instead of wasting your time with complaint of how difficult it is to play your lane, you should try to progressively understand more and more how the matchup works, right? You should, instead of like wasting your time about a thing that you do not have control over, such as your teammates trolling, right? Such as you have being in a bad matchup, such as uh, you having feeders, griefers, inters, AFKs, and so on, right? Like you're not managing your time correctly in game, right? The game cannot be paused. The game goes on. Like we don't have time. We don't have time to stop, to complain non-stop, to flame, right? We just simply don't have time for such in the game, right? So from the other hand, in these stressful situations, you should really be careful to, instead of trying to react to the situation, right? You should try to respond to the situation, right? Now, the difference between reacting to a stressful situation and responding, it's way different. Now, I don't say it's a problem that you have emotions, that you're stressed, that you're angry, that you're whatever, right? But there is no problem that you are stressed from the game. I don't have an issue with that, right? But here's the thing, like you shouldn't allow that anger to consume you. You shouldn't allow that to basically affect the whole game just because you feel stressed out, and now we may think that the whole game is over just because you died once, twice, even more times possibly, right? Um, it's really, as I said before, it's really all about like how much do you allow that emotion to consume you, because trust me, everybody feels anger, everybody feels sadness, everybody gets stilled, stressed out, whatever, right? And it's always how much do you allow that emotion to get into your head, and how much do you allow that emotion to affect your gameplay as well, right? Because when it does affect our gameplay, uh, it will be eventually harder and harder to rank up, because some emotions will just hold ourselves back if we allow it to happen, right? If we allow it to happen, right? Side of that, there is this emotional projection. It basically means that when you rather spend your time with flaming your teammates instead of looking into your own mistakes, which will eventually distract you, your teammate, and what that means, you're not improving a lot. Like, what do you learn from game one? You will bring up to the game two, but if we mostly what we all did the whole game, we played the game, we flamed, and we didn't manage our attention in the sense to improve our own self, right? Like one thing you got to understand when you play solo queue, should be willing to understand that random shit will happen, right? That's why in these days I actually don't even play solo queue much. If I can, I play 5 premade, whatever. Like I don't really. Uh, Yep. So where was I? I had to stop clipping because I didn't notice I was on a Discord call. I mean, in a channel, and somebody joined it. I was, who's here? Who's here? So this is like definitely a behavior that has to be stopped if you wanna rank up, you know. Like I know that this thing might anger you, right? That these type of people, but you gotta understand that there is a reason why people are in a certain rank. And this is the same thing as well, like as I said before, again, people are overly worried about things that they do not have control over. No matter how much time do you waste your time bullying, flaming, hating, resenting your teammates, it won't make them a better player. It just won't. No matter how you try. And this will just make you even more toxic and more toxic and more hateful. And it means you kinda lack empathy. It means that you really have a low understanding of how that humans can do mistakes as well. Like we are humans, we all do our own mistakes. In fact, probably you, and same as everyone has their own mistakes. It's just not being aware of them. It's one thing as well, right? Because our ego sometimes leads us in a path where we do believe that we are perfect, right? But in reality, nobody is perfect. Then again, third thing, this ranked anxiety, the flight and fight response. Oh, I got ganked by my mother. Well, I got ganked by my parents IRL, so have to move in here, right? Then again, about this ranked anxiety, this flight and fight response, that we get in our body before we queue up. We already feel a little bit stressed, worried before we get into the game, thinking that we're really gonna get mean players, bad players, we're gonna lose. No matter how hard you try, most likely you're gonna lose. You're really overwhelmed by what's gonna happen in the future. That's what the rank anxiety is actually about, right? And here's the thing, the simple answer is just play the game and it goes away, right? That's the simple answer, right? And if you do it, it actually goes away, right? Because one of the best enemies of the anxiety is actually action, right? But now why? I'm so afraid. I can do it. I can click on the play button and I can play ranked. I can play anything. They're gonna be flamed. I'm gonna be countered, right? Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen, and it means you really live in the future. You really have a negative visualization of the future. It's like you gotta be more realist. Like you can't only be pessimistic about the situation, and you can be only optimistic. You gotta see on the both sides, right? You can't really sit on one side and be like, I guess I can only have unfortune in my life, right? It's really not can really happen anything, and you see what happens when you queue up, right? When you play ranked, when you're in game, that ranked anxiety can suddenly go away because the reason for that is, for example, you have ranked anxiety, you decide to queue up, right? And you get a different experience than from the previous. You get a good experience, right? Which rewires your brain in the sense that it makes it understand that it's not always it's not always true that only bad things can happen to me when I queue up to play ranked, right? And when your anxious brain eventually like rewires from its current state, basically you will feel way better about yourself. You will feel more confident about clicking that play button. So as I said, the simple answer is just play the game. It legit goes away. Just a game, just like a play button you have to press. It's not that difficult, right? As well, you gotta stop like constantly living in the future, because if you have anxiety, it simply means that you live in the future, right? And you gotta always live in the present moment. That's like one of the most important things to do, because as I heard before, like depression is a thing you have if you live in the past, right? And anxiety if you live in the future. So you gotta aim to live in the present moment, right? Aside of that, there is like another response to like bad teammates, like What the hell do I do about bad teammates? Okay, I'm being calm in game, I'm not tilting, but what the hell do I do about bad teammates? They still inting me though, and they're not winning still, right? You can always play 5 pre-made, like you are the one actually to choose to play with 4 random people when you when you queue up alone for ranked, right? When you queue up for your solo duo game, right? So it's random. It's 100% it's bad. It's 100% it's good either, but it's random. That's why I prefer to play 5-man pre-made, 4 3-man. Like I prefer to play with friends, to play with people. Pre-made in Flex. I don't play much solo queuing these days, right? It's just a personal preference for me because often you can feel disrespected. As I said, you can really feel disrespected sometimes if you play the game alone. So I think it's just generally better from my opinion if you play full pre-made because lots of the issues you can avoid that you already have in game, right? That's my personal opinion about it. Now, what I do, Gaby? I don't have friends to play with. I don't have anyone. Well, the internet is such a big place. League is such a big place. Like, there are excuses that you can make up, right? But it's like there's so many Discord groups, so many forums about League, Reddits, whatever, that it's unrealistic that you, as an average, I don't know what rank player you might be, like any rank, I would say even if you're a challenger, like any rank, it doesn't matter what rank you are, can find someone to play with, right? Even like for example, if you're challenger or master plus, of course you can't play pre-made ranked, but I'm talking about flex or like normal games or that whatever, right? Okay.